Hey everyone, did you know that it is the job of the judicial branch to protect you from the executive branch? Seriously, this is not a TV show. The court is what keeps the enforcing branch from stepping too far. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Virtual History 360. I'm Mr. Wade, and this is Flipping Civics. Today, I want to talk about the judicial branch. More specifically, I want to talk about the Supreme Court. But before we get started, I want to share some exciting news. If you watched my random history video from St. Cloud, you already know, but in case you haven't, I'm doing a giveaway. As of this recording, I have 384 subscribers. I need your help to grow this channel, so I'm asking that you share my videos. Hit that little share button down there, share it on Facebook, on Instagram, put out a plug on Snapchat, whatever platform you use, spread the word, okay? Because here's what's going to happen. Once I hit 400 subscribers, I will choose one subscriber at random and give away a prize. This is my way of saying thank you to those of you who have been supporting me for a while and those who will support me in the future. So, what is the prize? Well, I did a poll on my Instagram and it said that you wanted an antique, like an artifact. So, I got one. It's actually a pin. It's not very big, but a pin. Here's a picture. A pin that was given out to veterans of the Spanish-American War. How does this tie in? Well, if you go back and watch my St. Cloud video again, that building that I was standing next to was used as a Veterans Affairs office after that war. So this can really bring history alive for you. So let's get out there and do it, okay? Spread the word and let's get to 400. Okay, enough about the giveaway. Let's get back to the Supreme Court. As we've talked about before, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Well, that's all well and good, but who makes sure what our country does follows those rules? That is what the court system is for. If the legislative branch writes a bill that the executive branch signs into law, it must meet the scrutiny of the judicial branch. The top of the judicial branch is the Supreme Court. There are currently 9 justices on the court, and they have the final say in the appeals that they hear. That's kind of a big deal, don't you think? Because of this, they do not have term limits. In fact, they serve for life. This makes the appointment of a judge a very serious undertaking because they will most likely be on the bench long after the president has left office. Speaking of presidents leaving office, did you know that there was one president who became Chief Justice of the Supreme Court? That's right, William Howard Taft is the only man to serve as head of both the executive and the judicial branches. He's also the first president and Chief Justice to be buried in Arlington National Cemetery. As a side note, he probably didn't actually get stuck in the White House bathtub, but they did have a giant tub installed that while he was in office. All right, enough about Taft. Let's get back to talking about the Supreme Court. What do you say? Should we hit the location first? Let's hop in the jet and see the actual Supreme Court. All right, here we are in Washington, D.C., in front of the Supreme Court. Again, this is the highest court in the land. If you need to appeal your case, the buck stops here. Whatever these justices decide is final because there's not a court above them. Now, while most of their cases are appeals from lower courts, the Supreme Court does have original jurisdiction over cases involving diplomats from foreign countries or disputes between 2 or more states. But that's it. Look at the landmark case of Marbury v. Madison and the Midnight Judges. This case was reviewed by the Supreme Court, but Chief Justice John Marshall declared that the court should not have decided because they did not have original jurisdiction, that this case should have followed the route of appeals. This case also firmly established judicial review and put the judicial branch on even standing with the legislative and executive branches. Judicial review, if we can go back to that for a second, is one of the most important powers of the Supreme Court. This allows the courts to review laws and determine if they are constitutional and nullify those that are not. It is very simple. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and if there's a conflict between the Constitution and a law, the Constitution wins. And since the judicial branch has a duty to uphold the Constitution, it is very important that justices serving on the bench be fair and honest. Because they are not elected, they are to remain apolitical. This is why they wear black robes. In a perfect world, the justices will be unbiased, middle-of-the-road types of people. But of course, the world is not perfect. These judges are nominated by presidents who want to further their own agendas, so presidents who get to nominate a justice select candidates who align with their own political ideologies. And if the justices disagree with the president, well, they can always try and do what FDR did. When the Supreme Court kept shooting down New Deal programs, they said they were unconstitutional, Roosevelt pushed for the Judicial Procedures Reform Bill of 1937. This would have allowed him to add 6 more justices, bringing the total to 15 and ensuring a majority to agree with him. Luckily, this did not pass through Congress. All right, let's get here. The Supreme Court is pretty good, but with a biased bench, the decisions would not have stood up to the test of time. So that's probably a good thing that bill didn't pass, right? But not to say they always get it right. I mean, look at the cases of Dred Scott v. Sanford and Plessy v. Ferguson. There's going to be a Mr. Haber song, if it's not out already, that talks about it, but suffice it to say, that court messed up and it took years to correct their mistakes. On top of their mistakes, there were times when the executive just didn't listen, like when Marshall declared the government had no right to the Cherokees' land and Jackson kicked them off anyway. But for the most part, our system has worked together to ensure that the Constitution remains on top and has worked to make our country better. We're not there yet, but working towards it. So let's recap. When talking about the Supreme Court, you have to understand that their job is to ensure our laws meet the constitutional requirements. They make judgments to ensure that the document is upheld. The 9 justices hear appeals and render verdicts based on this and previous cases. They look at precedent upheld earlier. Now, hope that ties it all together for you. And I also hope that these videos help you in your civics class or your history class. Go ahead and leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. Tell me what I can do to help you in other videos. Okay? If there are any topics you want to see, just put it down there. And if you like this video, go ahead and hit like. Hit that button there. Hit subscribe. Come on, we're trying to get to 400, right? If you want to find out more, check out some of my other videos by clicking on the side here. For Virtual History 360, I'm Mr. Wade. Thank you.